out there and around the world. This is the big show, and I'm your host, Jerk, and I hope you are doing well, and I bet you can hear that the audio sounds better than the last time. Well, good news, we fired Eddie after the last video, because you know what was wrong with all of that? He had the microphone in backwards. What a noob. But speaking of noobs, let's go ahead and get today's guest out here. It has been about 3 months since we last saw them slink across the screen. So ladies and gentlemen, give a big show welcome to the legendary tier Russian battle cruiser. Give it up for Stalingrad. Oh, baby. I hate to see it go, but I love watching it leave. Stalingrad, the ship for the modern-day introvert. It's not that it doesn't like other ships, it just doesn't particularly want to be around other ships. Now, the reason I brought this out of retirement was because there were some posts on the Reddit this week asking the age-old question, is Stalingrad worth it, and how do you play Stalingrad? And realizing it has been a while, I figured I'd take it out for a night on the town, and it did not disappoint. It never does, unless you're expecting it to be something it's not. You have to accept her for who she is, man. And speaking of, let's see the commander and modules I'm using, and it's none other than Lightful, identifying as a Snow Maiden, and Mr. Von Klinsky and Betty Daviside, Storm and Norman Scott. Now, it's a pretty standard affair here. This build has not changed since I got Lightful up to 16 Legendary 4, though I did procure Azure Lane Scharnhorst this past week and may swap one of these out just to try it. But this ain't broke, so I'm not sure I need to fix it. Now, for anyone needing a quick answer as to the big difference between Alaska and Stalingrad, I will run through them real quick because they are very similar but different. Both have 305mm guns, both have improved penetration angles, though I believe Alaska's is about 5 degrees better. Both have radar, with Alaska being shorter range but a longer duration, and Alaska having longer range, shorter duration. Beyond that, Stalingrad is AP only, whereas Alaska has HE and even sonar. So on first pass, it sounds like the Alaska has more utility than Stalingrad, and I would say yes, it does. But that should also be a hint at how they can be played to succeed. Stalingrad is a loner dotty, a rebel. So what does it have to make it worth 2 million global XP? Well, it is incredibly tanky, but whoop-de-doo, so is a battleship. And its citadel is exposed, whereas Alaska's is quite trolly up close, though definitely accessible at range. Again, Jerk, I'm mostly hearing negatives. Where are the positives here? Fine. I will tell you. It is the AP. You see, this isn't just any regular old AP. It is pure stellinium injected with magical properties. It has just about zero drag, which means your shells will be going nearly 1,000 meters a second, even at 19 kilometers. It has enough penetration to citadel any battleship in the game within like 18 kilometers. The fuse timers are shorter than American fuses, being just 0.022 seconds, and perhaps most unexplainable and magical, its fuse threshold is just 34 millimeters, whereas, say, Riga's with its 220 millimeter guns is 38. How does that work? Balance, comrade. And then, on top of all of that, a Sigma of 2.4 base. So not counting any of our commanders, that is the best Sigma in the game. That is a lot of words to say if you like going where your team isn't, aren't afraid of taking a little damage, and are fully capable of using your head for something other than a hat rack. This could be the ship for you. It is right up there with Kleber for me. I don't mind needing to work a little bit to get the most out of a ship when they can so consistently deliver. Does that mean you won't ever curse RNGesus? Of course not. But I think if you go through this video and watch the shells, you will see a very regular consistency that any doctor would be proud of. The shots go where I aim. Sometimes my aim is off, it happens, but there is a moment in the not-so-distant future where you can see some beautiful salvos that battleship mains can only dream of. Come on, you battleship mains. Give Stalingrad a try. It'll make you feel so good.
Вражеский эсминец потоплен.
And with that, I have cleared out this side, so I'm going to push up and assist in capping. And from that point, we will be able to reassist the situation, because right now, things are looking pretty good. We have the position. We have the caps. What could go wrong? Well, let me ask you a question. Have you ever played this game before? One thing that you always see is a battleship in reverse and another going bow in into it. Even if it's the corner of the map, it's like they forget their guns actually have range. Not only is it a terrible idea because you get yourself further out of position, but it is a terrible idea because you will never be able to drop spot. And just because you can fire doesn't always mean that you should. And just because you're in a German battleship doesn't mean it is wise to push a Yamato into no man's land. So around now, there is trouble brewing in Bluetown. While it looks like we're in a pretty good spot, my common sense is beginning to tingle as it becomes apparent that my team is looking to throw. Now, it hasn't happened just yet, but it is going to happen soon. The gears in the gray matter could really use some grease at this moment. Our team on the west is starting to collapse, and my team over here are being led out into open water, whereas the remainder of our team is starting to head this way. I do want to get this Mogami. I don't need them being able to flip caps, but looking at the minimap, I can see they are turning out. So I'm going to go back and look at the Yamato, but then I look back at the minimap, and it looks like the Mogami is starting to straighten out as they go around this corner. So let's get our guns back over there, line it up once they get there, and let's watch these shells, and let's see the stellinium-powered shells do their thing. Look at them converge right there, and hey, there you go. So we have to flip this cap, and I have to get away from my teammates. I'm not ready for commitment. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just can't be tied down right now. However, we need to finish the cap first, and then we can reposition. I haven't quite realized yet that our team's going to try and throw this yet, so I'm pushing forward a little bit this way. I'm also noticing that all of those torps are going to miss the Yamato. Yamato's in full reverse. So now I'm starting to look around and realize, hey, something's up. I mean, it should be a simple rule of thumb. If you're facing the same way as all your teammates, and everyone on your team is a starch tuber, as everyone implies, then it stands to reason that you must be a starch tuber as well. And as such, I'm done firing my guns. I am turning around, and I'm going to go to a place where I can carry my team to victory as they go and throw their ships away. I don't know why our destroyer is out there shooting their guns. I don't know why this Odin is trying to bow tank a Yamato. I don't have to try and understand what my team is trying to do. I just have to be able to compensate for them trying to throw. And there's going to go another of our battleships, and things are definitely looking pretty bad right now. Now, one thing that is working for the blue team right now is that we got all of those caps so early. So we have a fairly decent point lead. But, you know, if the red team sinks enough of us and flips some caps, this could turn into a loss easily. So rather than go far out of position chasing down a Yamato, I want to stay located where I can still impact these caps being flipped, and maybe I can find some crossfires as all the red ships go out there and try to sink my teammates. So we are taking this beautiful tour around here, trying to keep an eye on the Shimakaze there. I'm not honestly sure how they got spotted at that moment. It doesn't make much sense to me, but whatever. Anyway, look at what we have here. A beautiful broadside Conqueror that's just at the edge of my range. Just gotta turn in to actually get a little bit closer, and oh no, that is an Amagi ripple firing. Never a good sign. I am honestly teasing. I think when I got the Amagi, as I've mentioned, my first tier 7, I don't think I knew to double tap to fire a full salvo yet either. And speaking of beautiful salvos, that one looked really good, and it hits nothing because I aimed poorly. But if I aim a little bit properly, aim a little bit higher because they're turning out, oh, now that was the salvo of dreams. Let's see what that manages to do at, where are we, 18.3 kilometers? Very solid hit, and if we can get one more, I feel like we can probably sink this guy. And that will give us our 4 ships sunk, as we lose another teammate, and there's that. Now, what to do? Well, I know something. I know the Shimakaze is on this cap. I know they're probably going to come out this way, so I'm going to position myself to be able to spot them if need be, but also keep this island here to be able to block torps. I'm going to have to get rid of this Yamato, or my teammate is, if we want to have a chance. So let's get a shot out here, and again, poor aim on my part. I've been spotted. That's the Shimakaze passing through. Now, I could use the radar there, but I don't need to at this point. I can just adjust my spacing, so I don't have to worry about torpedoes. And that's where I was kind of confused. Where'd those shots go? We'll get another shot out, and we will actually yoink this Yamato for Kraken. 396 in the Stalingrad, but this game ain't over yet. We do still have the point lead. There is a Shimakaze running around, and that silver shower can only mean that there's a Mino somewhere. So Minotaur's AP is obviously quite withering, and I need to angle away from them so they aren't getting huge chunks off of me, but I also need to angle so I'm not at risk from torpedoes coming from that Shimakaze. I'm using my RPF to be able to keep track of where that Shimakaze is. I think they actually pop up for a second because they're going to shoot their guns. But this is one of those situations where it's like, okay, my team has tried as hard as they can to throw, and I really want to get this win. And how does the red team do this? Well, I don't know if this is a radar Mino. I mean, they probably should have smoked up. I don't know. I mean, I do have my radars, though, in case they do this, but just chasing me out here, it's kind of like the Odin chasing the Yamato to the edge of the map. It's better to stay alive and get the cap points than give up the points from dying. And I am, I mean, to their credit, the Minotaur is doing a little bit of damage to me, but I am doing much bigger damage to them. And I think they must just get frustrated here pretty soon because they're going to show just a little too much side. And not just yet. It looks like they're starting to think about turn right there, and that's why I'm angling out again, because they're going to have more guns firing at me. And I'm also wanting to make sure that just in case there are torps behind me, we need to be altering our course a bit. However, Mino, that is definitely too much broadside to be showing me, and we'll get that one. And with this one, we will actually pick up the 6-pack in the Stalingrad. It's been a while since we've done that, so don't have to worry about Mino torps. Not at that range. We are still spotted by the Shima. Don't really have to worry about their torpedoes at this point too, and we've got about a 370 point lead, and there's just not that much time left. So I will go ahead and use my radar and get a shot out at them, and rather than make y'all sit here and watch the rest of it, let's go ahead and skip to the scoreboard. 3,628 XP for a very good game, and would you look at that? Doubling the XP of second place. Legendary tier. Who says we don't have training rooms? But GG to everyone in the match, and that's going to wrap it up for this one. If you are secure enough in your abilities to be able to carry your team, give this video a like. If you need will to rebuild to survive a match, then give it a dislike. Questions, comments, leave them down below. And if you want to be there for our next interview, here's a hint. They're Italian, then think about hitting subscribe. Thanks for watching, folks. I will get back out there for another one, and we will talk